So let me ask you a question. Or for sake of comparison or a reference point, what you're describing is like a room that has, say, walls, ceilings, floors. So minimum of say 6 boundaries.
Yeah.
2 top, 2 sides, front and back.
Yeah.
And there's a lot been written about, say, multiple subwoofers in a room. To try to overcome exactly these problems of cancellation and summation. So, you have so much summation anywhere near a boundary, and you have so much cancellation usually in the middle of the room because the arrival time of the reflections create complete degradation of the output.
Yeah.
Kind of doing the same thing by adding, by using a DML.
Yeah, well,
because you're putting so much energy into the room from the difference is that this is a single source versus multiple sources, but you're able to diffuse the cancellation characteristics because you have multiple sources coming off the surface of the DML.
Yeah. So let me take exactly that point. So, by putting multiple subwoofers into a room, you're essentially distributing the drive of the room. Each subwoofer drives a mode set in the room. Multiple subwoofers drives multiple mode sets. So
and you're basically trying to overcome the cancellation.
Yeah, because you're putting so many sources that it creates this very, you don't locate any, and no particular one is dominant over the other. Largely, so you're distributing it, and yes, a way of modelling, say, a DML is to think of it as a surface of lots of little radiators, all moving with a slightly different phase relationship to each other. But people might say, well, how do you get any energy off the surface of a DML if it's out of phase, or even though each region isn't, say, 180 degrees out of phase, there's shifts between them, but you could talk about a net radiating component. So if you were to look at the surface of the panel, and let's say you looked at, say we're looking on axis at the moment, you could say, okay, there's X amount of the surface area generally moving in a positive direction, X amount is moving in a negative direction. And the positive and negative will cancel, but you design your DML through its aspect ratio, through the boundary conditions, through the excitation points, so that any given frequency, you always have a net output in that area that's coming off. And we know with a DML in, let's say, of this sort of size, I don't know exactly off the top of my head how many 10-inch or 12-inch drive units this will be equivalent to, but we know that at any given mode or any given frequency, the net amount is probably equivalent to a couple of 12-inch drive units or something. So that's how you get the high efficiency and the good output. Because even if it's cancelling, the net effect is that there's always going to be a net output.